Lovely.
And then also, I had some more about mental health. It's really scary out there with the anxiety, but good morning, good day, everybody. It's Alita Hernandez, Rebooted Mindset. Once again, I'm here with an expert interviewer. Today we have Dr. KRISTEN, and I hope I say her last name wrong, Guillory. I think I said it right. We'll find out when she comes in. I'm not very good with names sometimes. But today we're talking about mental health. She's a mental health expert, and we all need some help when it comes to our mental health. I know I sure do. So I don't know about you. But today we're going to talk about hidden costs of burnout and emotional fatigue. Okay. And I've been through that. So I'm interested to see what the doctor has to say about it and how we can go through this. We go through these emotional, just burnout on a daily basis. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So right now, there's about almost 58 million adults with mental illness. That's a lot of people. Okay. And that's a lot of people to have mental stress. And I know that it's very important to attack the mental issues in the beginning, if you can, because you have no idea where it's going to go. And unfortunately, I know several people that have passed because of mental issues and not talking to other people and telling them that there's a problem, and that's a big issue. So let's bring in the doctor and let's see what she has to talk about. And let me wait. One second, guys. Yes. We need a big applause for you today.
We do. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Thank you, doctor, for being here. I appreciate you much. And let's just get into it. Let's talk about your journey and how did you begin being a doctor?
How did I begin? It was, long story short, I had an idea that I always wanted to go all the way through and get my doctorate. I just didn't know in what. And since probably 10 years old or 11 years old, I've always been helping. Like I've always been the helper. Like when we had family Christmas gatherings at 8 and 9, I was the one putting the agenda together. Okay, so Uncle John, you're going to sing this song and sister's going to do this and you're going to do this. And I'm in like junior high and helping my friends, and it didn't burden me. And I didn't realize that I had a gift for helping and holding space and all that stuff for a while. And so I went and got some degrees in social work and counseling, and just continued to strive to help people, in whatever way they needed help. But the overarching is to help people heal wounds. And I didn't know that when I was younger, because I probably would have rejected it because that's kind of heavy. Okay. But to realize that I have a gift to help people heal wounds is something sacred and something I do my best to steward the gift well. So it's kind of been in me for a long time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's a difficult journey, because I actually was studying to go into psychology way back when, because I felt like I was always helping people. And then I found out that you can burn out by helping people too.
Yes.
So that's also another problem, that you can just completely burn out. And then how do you do that? How do you maintain your sanity while helping other people with issues?
Absolutely. So, it's so many things. Okay. It's so many. So one, if you're a helper, and I don't necessarily mean in for profession, if you are a caregiver, if you are a parent, I'm a proud aunt. So if you are an active aunt or uncle, one of the things to do, so I used to be in captivity to activity. Okay. Can you relate? Have you been there?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So my schedule was always full, not out of necessity, and this is what I'm called to do, but that was my identity. Like I didn't know what it was like to be still. And listen, I made myself Jesus. Okay. Listen, I put myself on a pedestal because I'm like, I'm the helper, I'm the savior, until I realized I can't want your healing more than you do. I
Mm.
can't want this at the expense of me. And so very recently, I've been talking to friends and clients and a lot of people and saying there has to be space for you too, TOO, space for you too. Like if you are caring for someone in your job or personally, I've been there where I sacrificed all of me. They didn't ask me to, but I did because I made myself Jesus. I wanted to help and realize, wait a minute, there has to be space for me too. Maybe what I'm going through is not as heavy as yours. And there has to be space for me too, because I can't end up in the hospital over helping you. And so
Mhm.
one is realizing I'm not savior, right? Two is realizing there's space for me too. Three is realizing that if you are a believer and have faith in any capacity, that God or whomever can handle what you can't. And then it's four, realizing that you are the best for other people when you take care of you.
Mhm.
And so tell me, you said, tell me about that.
Well, because I'm a caretaker, I'm a
Yeah.
caregiver, I guess. I take care of my mother who's 87 and my
Mm,
aunt who's 85.
mm,
So before I got on here, I was doing the commotion and unfortunately my aunt has dementia.
mm,
So I just had somebody come in today to give her a shower because it's an issue. It's
yeah,
an issue when you're the caregiver and the person you're taking care of, you're so close that they don't want to listen to you also. And it's a lot of pressure on me. It's a lot of stress.
yeah,
It's hard to separate, your love for your family member and then having to deal with watching them disintegrate. Like I can watching her change and become a shell of a person. It's
mm,
very difficult,
yeah.
you know.
So I wonder if you're open to it. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think
Definitely.
sometimes it's helpful when I can talk about things and share things kind of in a theoretical standpoint. But if you're open, I'd love to talk to
Oh
you.
yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
love so
definitely.
let's talk about that. So you said, first of all, I'm so sorry about your aunt, and it's you're grieving two things. You're
Yes.
grieving who your aunt was because she's not meaning not to know. She's not
Right.
meaning
No,
to
she's
be like this, right? And then
right.
you're grieving some of your freedom that you at one point had, like, okay, I have to do this. So how was that impacting you? How was being a caregiver impacting you mentally and then physically?
It's taking a toll on me.
Yeah.
I was sick for a couple of months. I
Mhm.
really got into we moved too, and there was a lot of changes,
Yeah.
and it affected me mentally. Like I just think I think I had a nervous breakdown or something. I just was in bed for like 3 months. I couldn't
Mm,
get out of bed. Now I'm doing much better. I've taken time for me. I work
mhm.
out. I try to go outside and walk and do things for me to breathe, do some breath work,
Yep.
meditation, pray to God, and just hold on to all that just to kind of keep going. But
Yeah.
there are days that I guess sometimes I feel angry, like I feel it's a frustrating thing because you can't change it. You can't change what they're doing. My aunt fell and she hit her head. So she's just, yeah. And then my mother has Alzheimer's, but she
Mhm.
just started forgetting her short term. So
Okay.
she's really solid. She's good. She's 87. She's
Good.
still dancing salsa. She still plays the piano. So yeah, we always have music in the house. But it's hard. I feel like I grieve every day. That's how I feel like when I see them and see my aunt that she was a branch manager of a bank for all her life, and now
Mm,
she doesn't know the day or time, she doesn't know where she lives, she doesn't know how to take a shower, she doesn't have any joy in her life, and that's what's
mhm.
the sad part about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And I'm so sorry. It's hard. And the fact that you found breath work and working out and prayer is a big deal. And I want to commend you on saying, I get angry. I've worked with people who will say, I'm not supposed to be angry, but are you though?
Yeah.
And I want to encourage you, and even this is for me and anybody else. So one of the reasons people are like, man, you process things so quickly, it seems like you get over things quickly. It's not that I get over things. The only way out is through. And so for me, where I am today, I didn't always do this because, like I said, I was Jesus. But today, I have to let myself feel every emotion all the way through. And so my encouragement for you is when you feel angry, feel it all the way through. And I mean all the way through. The problem that anger causes is we either try to compartmentalize it, we try to put it to the side, or we stop right in the middle and then it causes us to, So what I know when I'm angry, one, don't make any decisions. I know that. Do not make any decisions. If I want to, okay? Because but don't make any decisions and feel it all the way through. Like feel it, because at the end of it, if we allow it to process the way it's supposed to through our body, it's so helpful, it's so freeing, and your anger is valid. Your anger is righteous. Your anger is because you're human and you love these women and you love your aunt and you're angry that why does she have to go through this amazing leader who did all this stuff in the community? This is it, Lord, for real? You have the right to say that and do that and say, and I get to care for her. I get the beauty and the blessing. So I have something I call the and ministry, where it's I get to be grateful and angry at the same time. I hear a lot of, like back in the day, especially in church and more things like that, you should be grateful always. All right, but what if I'm not grateful today? I'm angry. And that's fine too. Well, you should be grateful. Well, I am, and I'm angry. And I have the right to be. God can handle my anger. And so I just want to encourage you to let yourself feel it all the way through. And I get to care for my aunt. And while she may not remember some things, she knows you, and it's there. It's in her. It's in you. I love that you continue to play music for your mom. I love salsa merengue as well. Okay, so I be dancing with your mother, and that, because you said short term, maybe kind of, here and there, but that long term, okay, that salsa is embedded. That salsa is in her, regardless of ability. It is in her, and so I want to encourage you to use and. I am angry and I get to care for these women. I am angry and you know what? I am courageous enough to call somebody in to bathe my aunt because she's not listening to me. So I want to honor your courage. I want to honor that you are doing more than the best you can. And if you haven't heard this, you're doing a really good job.
Thank you. Nobody tells me that.
You're doing a good job. You're doing a really good job. You're caring for two women who are in hard places, one harder than the other. You have your own job and your own life and your own things, and you're doing a really good job. And if there's a day that you are like, oh my gosh, the house looks a mess, that's okay. You are human, okay? You better leave that plate in the sink. It's okay. It's okay.
I've learned to prioritize things. Like those things don't bother me anymore. It's like I can wait for that, It's more priority of them to making sure they eat and they're clean and they're taken care of and they're safe, And it's hard because I'm the only daughter, the only niece. So I'm in, and thank God for my husband that he's in the journey with me and he helps me so much because I couldn't do it by myself, And there are times, like I said, I get angry, I go outside, I scream. I'm like I have to get it out, I'll scream at God, what am I doing? I have to let it out, because if I keep it inside, then it just builds up inside, and it manifests in physical illness. And that's what happened to me a couple of months ago, that I let it get too far. So now I'm like, nope, not doing that again. So and I have a good circle. I have a sisterhood, a group of women. So unconditional love, support. So thank God for these women, because when I need something, I just pick up the phone and go, I need to talk to somebody, and they're there for me. And that really helps.
Shout out to your circle. Shout out to your husband, with you saying he's in there with you. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Is there anything that you could ask of your husband or your girlfriends, just even if it's not anything extra deep? Is there anything you're like, you know what? I could ask my husband to help me with this, or I could ask my girlfriend. So what's something, let's start with your husband. What's something that you could ask him to do or not do or continue doing?
Well, it's interesting you said that because the other day I came in and I talked to him and I told him, honey, I really need you to help me with this. When I cook dinner every day. So when I cook dinner, I need you to come and make sure the ladies get to the table because it's an ordeal to get them to the dinner table. So I said, that's what I need you to do. When I say dinner's ready, please get the ladies. And then he comes and he says, okay, ladies, time to dinner. And they all come to the table. If I say it, yeah, I'll be right there in a minute. And then half an hour goes by and then I get frustrated because then she doesn't want the food cold. So like, so it's like a catch-22. So now that's what he's doing for me. So I tell him, please. And then he does that for me. That gives me at least a little less stress so I can actually enjoy my dinner and the ladies are at the table and so on.
Perfect. And so your mom and aunt are in your house. They're in the house.
We live all together.
You're all together.
And I have JC's aunt as well, but she's better. She's in her 70s. So she helps, she sweeps every day. She maintains the house for me. And so, but there's 5 of us in the house, plus 5 little dogs.
Okay. So a big family. So that's beautiful and hard. That's beautiful and hard. So that's awesome. You're inviting your husband. Okay. So husband every day, just as I get him at, like tell him to come on. And thank you so much for doing that. So I commend you for doing that. What is something you can invite your girlfriends to do for you or just anything, any question you can ask?
Mostly with my girlfriends is just to get me out of the house. I'll go take a break with them. I need, so I have to make sure that I take enough time outside of the house since I work in the house too. So my garage is a studio. So I'm a little separate, because it's quiet in here, but still, it's hard when you're home working all the time and caring for them. So I have to get out. So usually with my girlfriends, it's just, hey, let's go have a coffee or just get out of the house for a little while or drive to the beach, anything like that, just to get out.
Okay. Perfect.
That's the biggest thing.
So I'm going to give you this encouragement. It sounds like you're already doing it. With your girlfriends, if it's a group text or individuals, ladies, can you all come up with some type of organic schedule where one of you or the group of you, y'all just pull me out? Can you do that for me? Because there may be some days I need it, but I don't think to ask. So can I ask you all once a week just to call me and say, hey, I'm going to be over there in an hour. And if I can't go, I'll tell you, but can y'all do that? And they would love to do it. They would love to do it. And sometimes those of us who are, me included, the strong ones and consider strong, giving that, I'll give you an example. So I have a coaching program. I coach people to be speakers and other things. And I told them there was one night I just came back from a trip and I was very tired and we normally meet for 2 hours. And I'm like, I knew I had an hour in me, but I knew I didn't have 2. So I emailed them, hey, everybody, we're going to meet from 7 to about 8:15 tonight. At 8:15, can y'all tell me it's time to hop off? All right. So we hopped on the call and it's about 15 people in there. And I said, hey, everybody, we're going to get it in. I'm tired. Thank you for your grace. And at about 8:15, we need to hop off. Y'all give me a countdown. Why did everybody in the group start saying 30 minutes left, 20 minutes left, 50? What the? And then it was time. So I said, y'all, 5 more minutes. One of my guys in the group, he said, nope. Excuse y'all. And what I learned in that moment was people care about us so much. And especially those of us who are leaders and the strong ones and the caretakers, sometimes they need permission to check on us. Sometimes they need permission to do that. And so every time I say, hey, y'all, I got to shut off at 8:30, I have 12 timekeepers. Okay. Wow. I don't need a 45-minute notice, but it's almost like because you do everything so well when you give us the invitation to help. I'll give you one more story. So I am a highly sensitive person. I'm an empath. So I feel people deeply. And so much so I absorb energy. I absorb people and it can be very heavy. It can be very hard on me. And I have this special gift and anointing that people say, don't look me in your eyes because I'm going to read your soul. Okay. And I'll go to things and I started sharing with my family, my mom and my sister. Hey, if y'all ever see me just kind of leave, it's not that I don't want to be there. I'm overwhelmed or I'm overstimulated and I'm over this. And so my birthday was last week and my mom, thank you, went to Mexico and anyway, around area, Cancun, had a great time at a resort. It was beautiful. But my mom said, hey, do you want to go to a movie? Do you want to hang out? Do you want it to just be me or you, or are you open to me inviting the family? And I just said, Mom, thank you for asking that. I appreciated it because in truth, I just wanted it to be me and my mom. I love my family, but in that moment, because of capacity, I didn't want a lot of people. And that's just a small example of, they wouldn't have known that if I didn't tell them. Or they might have thought she just leaves people. No. And so give your girlfriends that permission. Ladies, I need y'all to come up with a get me out of the house plan every week. No more than, could be 2 hours, but would y'all, they're gonna love doing that. They're gonna love.
Yeah, they will. They
Yeah.
will. Yeah. Sometimes I encourage my husband to leave too, because like now he went for a ride, because I need a break from him too. Like, you know what I mean? Like you need a break when you're with somebody 24/7 and you're living with them,
Absolutely.
you just need a break. And I tell him, I said, you overwhelm me. I said, because I'm working, I'm writing,
Yeah.
and then he comes and starts talking to me. I can't be creative and while you're talking to me, so it's a balance. It's
It is, and I commend you on saying that to your husband. And here's the other thing. Your husband probably needs a break too from everything, right? He's watching you struggle. Your husband knows you. He's probably not going to say everything that's on his heart because he doesn't want to ruffle feathers, but your husband is worried about you. He's very worried about you. And he just doesn't know at times what to do because he doesn't want to add more to it, right? Your husband's very worried about you. Like, let me just say that. He's very worried about you. And he is worried about the women in his house as well. And for you to even tell your husband, listen, I know sometimes I tell you I need a break from you. It's not even just about you. It's not you. It's I'm overstimulated. And husband, I know you're worried about me. I know you are. Thank you. And if you choose, I'm gonna give you a little homework. My clients would say, of course you would give homework. So if you're open to it today or tomorrow, when your husband, today, when your husband comes back and you have time, like you have a big break between work, just go up to him and hug him for a long time. Okay. And he may say, what's wrong? You could say, nothing. I just want to hug you. He may, what's wrong? Is everything okay? And just hug him for a long, right? Are you all right? I am. Just hug him. And at the end of the hug, have a seat with him. Go sit down with him. Hold his hand and just thank him. Thank you. What? For what? What did I do? Just thank you. Thank you. You said, do you know my husband? I know. Do you know him? Do you know him? Just thank him. Hold his hand and thank him.
He's a very passionate Latin man. So
see? What do you mean? What? Right? Thank you.
Everything,
and thank him for things in particular. Thank you for asking. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for holding. Like, thank him specifically for specific things. And then, I know you're worried about me. I know you are. And he's going to just look at you. He's not going to confirm it. He's going to, what do you mean? Huh? Right? I know you're worried about me, and thank you. I want you okay too. So this has to be hard on you. Well, no, I'm here helping you because I know, but there's space for you too. I know. So just sit with him and hug him. And there is research that shows that getting a 20-second hug every day does wonders to our nervous system and wonders to our bodies. And so for you, I would like to encourage you to hug your husband every day for 20 seconds. Hug your mom, because you said your mom overall is pretty good, right? Yeah. Hug your mom. And then with your aunt, I would start with the hand on her shoulder and see what her reaction is. And if that is then just leave your hand on her shoulder, because even though memory may not be there, there's recognition in our body. Our bodies store memories, our bodies store trauma, our bodies store love and joy. And so your aunt may just feel your hand on her shoulder and she may exhale. And that may be the only thing. She may not remember you in the moment, but she may remember, her body may remember that touch. So are you open to the hug challenge?
Yes. Yes. I knew this was going to be a good conversation. When I saw your information, I go, oh, I need to talk to her.
Okay.
Because, it's hard. It's hard. People don't understand what you go through as a caregiver. People don't understand it. They know that I have a busy schedule, and my girls know in the sisterhood, they understand. Yeah. They understand that it's not a simple thing, but it's dealing with the emotion of, like you said, the anger, the love that I have for them, the disappointment of seeing them deteriorate, all that stuff. It's just, it does something to you because they took care of me. I remember as a little girl, right? They were strong women. Both of them are very strong women, very independent, always did their things and everything like that. So when you see them frail, they're like children now.
Yeah.
They're just like they regress. Like I go buy I give them a little candy. She's like, "Oh, I got a candy!" Like they're so happy. So even little things like that, I do. I come on, I hide the candies, if not delete the whole bowl. I have to hide things. I have to hide the cookies. I have to. So every so often, I come out with a treat, and they're like, "Oh, thank you." They're all happy.
Mm.
Yeah. So I have to do things like that.
What a great thing that they're happy for it, and they're not pushing back, and they're not too mean, and that's the thing. And the thing is, they're still strong women.
Yeah,
They're
they're
still
very
strong
strong.
women. They're
They're very
absolutely
strong.
still strong women because they're not just laying on a bed. They're
No.
not just here. They are striving. And like, you know what? I don't know how much longer the Lord will allow me to be here. And if he says 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, I'm going to show up the best I can. Not in the way I did 5 years ago, 15 years ago, but the best I can today. And you are helping them to do that. You are allowing them to do that. And you also made a great point in saying it's the mental part. It's the mental exhaustion of watching.
Yes.
And okay, I have to grieve every day because who you
Yes.
were yesterday may not be who you are today. And so give yourself, so there is in the Bible, it talks about in the Old Testament, Lot's wife. And the Lord told Lot's wife not to turn around. If you turn around and look back, you're going to turn into a pillar of salt.
Right.
And Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt. And there's a scripture in Isaiah that says, like, stop looking at the former things because God is doing a new thing. And I wonder what new thing is happening in your life. I wonder, it's okay to look back. Like we can't drive a car without a rear view mirror, right? And we can't drive a car only looking in the rear view mirror. So it's okay to look back and remember, I remember when my aunt was like this. I remember this. And let me embrace who she is today. Because while she's different, she's still valuable. She's still strong. She's still brilliant. She didn't choose this. And I have the right to be frustrated. I have the right to be feeling the way that I feel because you're human and it's a hard thing. And there's joy here. You're in family, right? She has her family. You have each other. And so for you, not only are you a physical caretaker, you're also a mental one. You're also holding mental space for your mom, for your aunt, even your husband at times, and even you. And that's heavy. That's heavy. And let me tell you something. Your shoulders are not big enough to carry all that. Okay.
No.
And they're not strong enough to carry all that. And you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. And so I am very proud of you. I just met you, but I'm very proud of you for inviting your husband to help, inviting your girlfriends to help, and being so honest and transparent here, and knowing that, oh, I know how I stayed in that bed for 3 months. Never again. I'm going to work out. I'm going to do breath work. I'm going to journal. And you're not alone. You're not by yourself. Your shoulders are not big enough to carry. And if they were, you're not supposed to. And so I'm going to tell you what I see. I'm going to tell you what I see in you. I see such a beautiful heart. I see someone who has put herself on the back burner for a long time, not just the last couple of years, like for a very long time. You've put on the back burner some of your dreams and some of your hopes, and you've actually even put on the back burner things that bothered you, but you didn't want to bring it up because I don't want to ruffle feathers. And in that, when you keep putting yourself on the back burner, then we get a shell of you. And the world does not need a shell of you. The world needs this full, vibrant, beautiful, brilliant woman who's always been there. Okay. You've always been there. You've been a little outspoken for a long time. Okay. People like, no, she's not being mean. She's just fiery. That's his passion. Don't do that. Right. That's who you are. But you've put some of that on the back burner. And I just want to encourage you to know that you have the right to show up fully as you. And fully doesn't mean in the fully last year. Fully means fully for the day. Fully for where the capacity is that you are. And you have that right. And there's space for you too. There's space for you too. There's space for you to go have a spa day. There's space for you to say, I need help. There's space for you to say, I messed up. And there's space and grace for you to grow. And so you're gifted. You're gifted. How many times have you heard that in some variation over the years that you're gifted? How many times?
I have many times.
Many times. And when people have said that to you, what do you think?
Don't know. I don't, like I do and I don't. Like, you know what I mean? I know I have compassion for people. I'm an empath as well, like absorb others. That's the whole thing too, is how not to absorb the energies of the ladies, because there's tension, there's, I put sound healing on, I do different things just to, all that. I do everything trying to calm and bring some peace in the house. I'll put it on, I'll do sage, I'll put the candles on, I'll aromatherapy, anything just to change the energy in the house.
Yeah.
Help them also, because I know the energy is heavy on them.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do with all that, because I don't know what's going on in their brain. I mean, my aunt's so confused, I mean, it's like she's still there, but she's not, right? Like she's there. And her girlfriend called that she's known for 70 years. And she knows, hey, Shirley, yeah, I know who, and she knows who she is.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to go see her in a few weeks. Go see her.
Oh.
But, so, it's just hard. It's just hard to deal with all the energies in the house and the different people, because we all have different things going on.
So many different things. So I'm going to give you a few things to deal with the energy. Okay. I got a formula for a lot of things. We found what works.
See, so it was God to put us together.
It was. And true. It really was, because I'll be honest with you, when, the time glitch, part of me was like, I don't want to reschedule for another day. Even though like my day's pretty full today, I was like, something's saying don't reschedule. All right. And I have to sit back and be obedient in that. Like something's saying don't reschedule. Because normally it would have been, hey, no worries. Let's do another date. But I was like,
like it was meant, I had to be today.
It had to be today.
And I have a blessing that a neighbor who moved in a while ago lives across the street, and she does caretaker. So I talked to her and we got along. We met outside and we kept talking. And she's like, I can help you with your aunt. So this morning, I said to my aunt, please go take a shower. She's like, in a minute. That's what she does. In a minute. But it never happens. I go, no, can you go now? Because you're going to forget. And then she starts arguing with me and screaming at me. Don't talk to me. She gets like that, belligerent. So I said, you know what? Why am I going through this? I'm just going to call my neighbor and see if she's there. And she was actually, I took the day off today. Look at that. So she came. I said, I'm coming right now. She came right over. And so I was over there dealing with her. She was going to get her prepping to go into the shower and everything like that. And I'm trying to get ready. I got an interview. I got to put makeup on, and I'm running around trying to get all this stuff done. So that was my process before I got to you.
And you made it, and we are here. And I'll tell you my prayer before this. I like to always just kind of pray before interviews. And it was just, Lord, let us flow. Whatever that means. Because, we could talk about the typical okay, yes, I can tell you this, but I was like, no, I think we're going to have a conversation, because this is for you. This call is for you. Yes, other people will see it, and that's beautiful, but this is for you. This conversation. And I love to see that, like how intentional the Lord is, where he'll use a strange strategy of an interview for you, because we would have never met otherwise.
No, right? We wouldn't. We wouldn't. And even though I read everything I saw about the mental health, I said, oh, I really want to talk to her, because it's on my heart. I always try to help other people, right? That struggle with mental health. We had somebody we knew that died because of drugs and things like that. So it really touches me, like it really bothers me that people have to struggle.
Yeah.
Right. That we have to struggle on our daily basis, and we get so lost. We get lost in our own brain, and then we don't know what to do. And then we try to do drugs. And I've been through that in the past. So I had struggles with drugs, and I understand more of it now. Why? Right. I understand why it happened, because of not dealing with traumas, not dealing with pain that you have inside and that you hold on to. And then you start believing it. Oh, I must not be good, or I'm not smart enough. I'm not this. You start internally, you start like beating yourself up, and it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with external and how we react to situations, so.
Absolutely. And it's any type of substance, and shout out to you for that not being a part of your journey today, and doing the hard work to heal through and work through that. Anytime someone, whether it's a substance, whether it is overworking, whether it is sex, whether it's something else, it's to numb pain. It is.
Yeah.
It is to numb pain. And our family my sister lost her son 12 years ago. One of my nephews. It was devastating. And my sister said, I understand why people turn to addiction. I understand because the pain is so horrible. And you alluded to something. At times of pain, it's about things that we're not even consciously aware of, things from childhood, things that we didn't even recognize as trauma. So a friend of mine recently told me, he said, I feel like I've been living a one-dimensional life. I feel like I've just been one-dimensional, working and just caring about myself only, not realizing that I haven't lived. And the reason he hasn't, quote unquote, lived is he created an armor and protection when he was younger because he witnessed violence, because he was in hard things as a child. And I talked, because he was like, isn't it a shame that I'm 43 and I'm just now recognizing this? I said, or is it a gift? Is it a gift that you can say you're 43 and you're coming to the awareness that you have been living a one-dimensional life? I said, because there are people who would give anything to have this revelation at 43. There are people who never have it or people who have it later. And I said, what you did is you did the best you could as that 10-year-old boy who was in violence. You did the best you could. And the thing with that is you just didn't come out of it because you were in protective mode. And a lot of people are in that, not knowing, oh my gosh, I have a lot of unresolved things from childhood or when in my 20s, and we're human. And the great thing about that is healing is always available. Yeah. Healing is available, and our society, like whatever you want to call it, tells us that we have to keep going. Don't stop. If you stop, you're weak. You're not weak. You're courageous. Like you're being so courageous right now in sharing and recognizing. When you say it out loud, it loses the weight of it, right? When you say, I'm struggling, ooh. But if you don't open your mouth, I like to tell people, open your mouth. When you don't open your mouth, it's just as heavy and heavy and heavy. And so with that, I want to give you a couple things. Final thing I'll share, unless you have a question for me, is things around nervous system and to make things lighter. So in addition to what you're doing in the house, the sage and the sound bowls and all that great stuff, there are a couple things for the nervous system. So our nervous system, right, there's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? That's our nervous system where, I don't know what to do. I feel out of whack. And so a couple things to do. I'm going to just walk you through a few. One is you're already doing it. It's breath work. And generally it is you inhale shorter than you exhale. So the inhale could be for 4, and then you exhale for 6. Inhale through your nose for 4. Exhale like you're blowing out a candle for 6. So that's one. And do maybe 3 rounds of that. And we just stay. Something else to do is literally shaking your wrists. So what this does, you can shake your wrists, you go up, you come down, and we do this for about 60 seconds. And what this is helping to do is just recalibrating our nervous system because we're overwhelmed and we can just do this. Another thing, in addition to the breath work, to the shaking, is to bounce. Like bounce, like stand up and bounce. We're bouncing or you're jumping for 60 seconds. Something else to do, and again, you can pick a couple of these. You don't have to do them all. Something else you can do is to do the the vibrations in your body. Do that. Another thing you can do is gargle. So when you gargle, that's activating something in our nervous system. And something else beneficial is at the end of your shower, spend the last 60 seconds of that shower in a cold shower. That helps our body. So these are some of the things you could try. So based on this, I know you already do breath work. What's one that you think you may add to your toolbox?
I like the bounce. Sounds interesting. Just to get them body moving and things like that. And probably add the shower because I sometimes do that. Do the cold water.
Perfect.
Kind of like shock. So so I can do that.
And you know what else? You could bring your family in if you're going to do the bounce. Put on some salsa, put on some merengue, put on something. Absolutely. Because here's a fun fact: in 95% of my keynotes and trainings, guess what we're doing? Merengue. Okay, I have the audience up and I'm teaching it, and it's not just for the sake of dance. I love to dance; it's fun, but we're moving our body. And that's allowing us to be more engaged and open for the experience that I'm curating. And so I'll say, how many of you have ever done merengue? No. How many of you have never heard of it? Yeah. And now all of you have done it. Congratulations. And so it just helps to move our body, because
Yeah.
we don't do that enough. And
That's
so
why we love music so much. And my husband's a salsa singer, so
what?
he's a singer. We have an orchestra. Yeah. I have a magazine, as you see behind me, and the podcast. So we do a lot of different things. And if you want to come on our cruise, we have a cruise in October going from Port Canaveral to the Bahamas, doing salsa all weekend.
Okay, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, my new friend. Okay, I need you to send me that information. There's a salsa event that happened in February in Chicago. It's like a Afro Latino salsa, like all whatever. And I said, I hate cold weather. I don't like it. But guess who's going to be back next year because I love it. My friend said, "You're going to go to every session, are you?" I sure am. Yes. So please send me the information about your cruise. I love cruises. I've gone on about 8 in the last 2 years. And I was actually looking for like a salsa cruise. I love it. I'd love you. If I have to sing you my playlist and people are like, how do you know this music? Don't do that.
Let me just show you the flyer. Here's the flyer.
Let me see.
Here's the flyer. So we have all those artists. We have 7 salsa artists, and we have freestyle music too, because we love freestyle from the 80s. So we got freestyle. We got Nasty Boys from the freestyle and some other ones there. And then we just added, I don't have the flyer yet. We just added randomly, we added this group called the Rolling Courts. They're from South Korea. 5 women who play K-rock. They play rock and roll like Motley Crue, all that stuff. They're amazing. They're amazing. So we put a little flair of different.
Put a little flair in it.
Yes, we have Spanish music, we have freestyle English, and we have salsa music English. Some of them are singing salsa with English words too, so people can understand it.
I've never heard.
Yeah.
Send it. I listen. Send that to me, and I'll send you if you want. Listen, we're trading trips. I'm hosting a retreat to Santorini, Greece in November.
Oh my
God! You are welcome to come. It's called the Sabbatical Experience.
Wow!
I went on a 5-month sabbatical last year where I traveled to 20 countries, and I know everybody can't do 5 months. They don't want to do 5 months, but I know people. Period. But the majority of my clients are women of color. I know that we don't rest and we don't sabbatical. And so I thought, let's go to Santorini. And what's interesting on my sabbatical, every time somebody learned what I was doing, the first question was, what do you do? That was the first question. And then anybody over 65 that I met, every person said to me, I'm so proud of you. I wish I would have done it. I wish I would have started resting when I was younger instead of waiting until I retired. And so I was always honored, and they would say, why am I just going on my first trip now at 65? I said, no, do not judge yourself. Exactly. You did amazing. You're traveling now. Okay, thank you. Like, yeah. So so I'm all about travel. Okay.
Well, yes. I have a friend of mine who was going to do in Colombia. He was going to do the shaman. I guess it's the shaman. Mm-hmm. And he was going to do a retreat there, but then Colombia got weird where he's at, so we couldn't do it. So I've been waiting for that to go like a week sabbatical. I just want to go on a retreat somewhere in a mountain and like no phone, no TV, and just meditate and you just be there, you know?
Okay, send that to me too. Because another fun fact, I was going to move to Colombia. Okay. And then COVID happened. And my nephew said to me, do you love Colombia more than us? No, guys, I enjoyed visiting. And there's a place that retreats. So there's a city called La Carrera, which is close to Bogota. And there's this beautiful home that I located on something. So I've been there about 3 times, and it's just acreages and animals. I don't really like animals, but I go there and I'm just like, they're like, you don't go out for what? No.
Exactly.
I don't need to go out. I am
Puerto Rico is a beautiful place. Have you been to Puerto Rico?
I was there at the beginning of March. Yes.
Oh. Mm-hmm. You like it?
Mm-hmm. I did. I will be back. I didn't realize it was so, the flight was so short. So I'm based in Texas right now. And so it was like a 4-hour, maybe a 3.5-hour flight. So yes, enjoyed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's beautiful there. That's another place you can go for retreats and stuff in the mountains and the countryside. My family lives in the country, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
It's just a different energy. I always love. Exactly. I love the beach. I love the beach. So I move. Yeah, I have to be by ocean and beach all the time. So
I'm not too far now, but just to tell you a short thing, we moved. I was living in Boca Raton, Florida. Very congested. Just the energy is not good. Let me just say that way. Yeah. I didn't like the energy anymore. So we moved 2 hours north of Florida, in Palm Bay. I'm in Palm Bay. next to
Okay, so the
Melbourne.
last 3 years, I was in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we moved up here to only 2 hours from down south, right? But it's a whole different living. I have a 1/4 acre on my house. There's space, there's animals. I mean, it's just very peaceful. And I chose this place for that because I feel I needed a nice, quiet, place at home with no traffic, no, all that commotion, the externals and stresses I didn't want.
Absolutely.
So everybody can sit outside if they want, outside in the patio, and I have herbs. I have herbs and vegetables growing. So that's my piece too. I go outside, I talk to my plants, I work with the earth, I do some earthing and some grounding there, because I've learned about that too. And I go out there and it just makes a big difference.
So you have so many beautiful tools that you're doing. So something I said that I did when I moved to the beaches, I set my life up to be a vacation. And it sounds like you're setting your life up in an oasis, serenity way, best for you. Because when I moved into the building, when I moved in South Florida, the realtor said, "Are you sure you want to live here?" I said, yes, because it was right by the beach. And the reason she said that to me is I was living in a building where the average age was about 75.
Okay.
And it was a lot of people who were retired. "Are you sure you want to be here? You don't want to be with people your age?" I said, "I do not. Nope. It is quiet. Everybody is friendly. I want to be here. Thank you very much. Let me sign that contract. I don't want anywhere else." And so we get to set it up that's best for us. And I feel you. I went to another city and like Miami, and my shoulders just go up when I visit Miami. It's just, yeah. Yep. Ditto.
I lived in Miami for a year. Trust me. Never again. I mean, the beach is nice. I spent some time in South Beach with a friend of mine, and it was great. I mean, she had a nice little apartment. We walked a block to the beach.
Yeah.
So it was nice to spend some time with her. But then when I moved to Miami for a year, it was just, no, it was not for me. And I like tranquility. My home is my refuge, right?
Yes.
So I find that it has to be peaceful. People don't understand, why are you moving from Boca? Boca is like it, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care where the name that I live. I said, the thing is, I don't find the peace. My neighbors are right next to me. They sneeze, I can hear them. They sneeze, whatever, I can hear them. I can see them. Here I have space. I don't have to see them.
Space. I love that. I commend you on doing that. We think of, oh, I'm going to move. I'm going to relocate for a job. I'm going to relocate for a relationship. I'm going to relocate for school. What about relocating for your peace of mind and for your mental health? And some people love busy cities, and that's amazing. Like that energizes people. I'm like you. I need to be away. So when I've traveled all those countries last year, I didn't really spend a lot of time in the bigger cities. So in Spain, I didn't do Barcelona or Madrid. I went to a city called Sigues, which was amazing and beautiful. I don't enjoy the big city feeling, and that's me, because like you, we just feel energy. And so
exactly. Exactly. And I grew up in New York, so you can imagine. I lived in New York. I was born and raised in New York. Then I went to LA. Yeah. And then I came to Miami. So I'm done. I had 3 major cities in my life. I've done it. I'm done. I just turned 60 this February. So thank you. I'm very proud. I don't care. People say, "Oh, you say your age." I go, I'm proud to be 60. I look good.
Absolutely.
I made it.
Absolutely. And please, 60 is, I have a client in my program. She turned 60 as well. And she was like, "Man, why am I just now recognizing this stuff? And why am I just now getting it?" I said, "Because I don't think you would have been able to receive it if you would have gotten it a couple years ago." I said, "Imagine the impact of you learning this now at this age, and how many people need to hear it from you." Because somebody said in the group, they were like, "We need more voices of people who are 50 plus. We need those," because there's a whole bunch of 30-year-old experts. And I'm not knocking that, because I was a professor at 24. Okay. I'm not knocking any of that, but we need that wisdom in a different way. And she said, "Man, it makes me so excited about the next 20 or 30 or whatever years." I'm like, that's what my aunt is 63. And I'm like, she jogs like 5 miles a day. She's launching projects. I'm like, "Ma'am, if you don't get out here and keep living well, okay, go do it," because it's a blessing to be 60, to be 40, to be 50, to be 80. It's a blessing.
Yeah, that's why I do this. That's why I try to do the podcast and get these messages out. And the best way to show is just my life. It's showing what I've gone through and just realistic things, so people can understand and be more attachable to that. Hello. Sorry, I had a little interruption.
Listen, that is real life. I lead events, and my nephews, if they're visiting. Last night, I was on a call with someone. My nephew was crawling on the floor, and she said, "I think your nephew's there." I said, "Come on up, come say hello. Come on up. We
Yeah,
see
the
you.
hubby came in. So
Tell him, hey, sir, greetings. She has homework for you."
I muted it. Yeah, no, I locked him out of the garage, and he's like trying to get in. I'm like, it's locked for a reason.
He's like, "Oops, I'm sorry. That's okay. That's why we can have mute." But in life,
It's real life. It's real life.
It's real
Exactly.
life.
It's real life.
It's real life.
So,
So you have a special smile for your husband. That was
yes,
beautiful.
I do. I do.
Now, how long have you been married?
We've been together 8 years now.
Okay.
8
Beautiful.
years, and it's we've gone through so much in 8 years that because I met him. Well, we knew each other before. You know, we were kind of like we would see each other every so often. You know, run into each other. Hey, how you doing? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then actually, after I had a stroke 8 years ago. So that's when really my life really changed a lot. So I decided to take the highway of living and not because I had to make a decision. I felt like when I had the stroke, it was like either I'm going to live or I'm going to die because I had lost 50% of my left side. So I have regained it. Thank God that I regained it, everything. And but it's been a journey. It's been a journey over these 8 years. And he had to go through that journey with me. He had to go. We got together 2 weeks after I had the stroke. So I was damaged, and I told him, and he was willing to stick around with this broken person here because I was physically not right. And he held me through those most difficult time in my life. You know, I couldn't get dressed, I couldn't walk. It was a lot of things I had to learn again, and it taught me a lot of strength, and it taught me that your body heals. If you give the nutrients and everything the body needs, the body will heal.
Yeah.
So I try to tell people that just because you had a stroke or something happened to you, you can regain yourself again. You know, you can regain walking, exercising. I can walk 3 miles. I was jogging. I mean, if you would have seen me when I had the stroke, you'd be like, what? You know? And I didn't really document it. I don't know. I guess mentally I didn't want to. So I never really videotaped myself during those times, which is unusual as much as video that I do, right? I didn't do it during that time. But because I was in a lot of pain for a while, but thank God for my acupuncturist. I did Chinese herbs and acupuncture for 3 years after I had the stroke. Wow. And that's what healed me. No medicine, just natural herbs and acupuncture. And they did a miracle for me, you know.
That is amazing. I'm so glad for all those miracles and that you are better and grateful for your desire to live and for your husband. Have you written a book?
No, I haven't written a book. I know. I've heard. Yeah, I need to start. I've been writing little things here and there. I just got to put it together.
And do you speak? Do you speak often and do keynotes and stuff?
No, I really want to do that. I haven't broke into that yet.
Well, let me help you. So that's the main thing I do. We didn't talk about that. So in truth, I won't tell you a lot. The main thing I do is I'm a speaker coach. The main thing I do is I position people to walk in the fullness and freedom of who they are on stage and in life and get their coins while they do it. And I actually have a Dr. KRISTEN Guillory's signature speaker coaching certification program where I'm one of the first women and women of color to have a licensed certification. So I'm coaching people to become speaker coaches because a lot of the speaking frameworks out there were not created with me and you in mind. Okay. They were not created with, it dismisses our flavor. They dismiss our essence. And so you will see me on stage, as I said, dancing and then having people cry. And so all that being said, if there's ever anything I can do to support you, because I don't say this to every person I meet. So let me just be very honest with you. I don't say this to every person I meet. I don't ever bring things up for the sake of like promotion. I hope you can tell that about me. That's not why I'm bringing this up. But I'm like, if she's not speaking, she needs to be. And if she's open, I'd love to chat with you another time and see.
Definitely. Let's talk offline. Yeah. I've been interested in that for a long time and I've been trying to figure out how do I get my story out there? How do I present it? That's the whole thing. How do you present it?
I got it. I'll tell you that.
Because I have a lot to talk about between just physical, the stroke, and also I went through addiction to cocaine also. So I've mastered that, got out of that through
Yeah.
through the grace of God, because I say without God I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Okay. The darkest, the worst time of my life, I just screamed out to God. I said, I'm
Mm.
done. I can't do this. I'm messing up my own life. So I need help.
Mm.
And from there, the help started coming. Once
Come
you
on.
ask for it, it comes.
Come on. You sound like me. On your, and we'll talk offline, but on your cruise, are you speaking? Are you speaking at any point on your cruise?
I didn't even think about doing that.
So the answer
But
is
I
yes, you
should.
are. Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
You need to speak. So anytime I help my folks that I support and they're hosting an event, um, and my clients will say, invite me to come in and keynote. And I'm always honored. And I'll say, yes, I will. And you have to either be the final voice or you have to be one of the main, because it's your event. And
Right.
so you have to, even one of my clients, she's a fitness instructor. She hosted a thing the other day. I said, are you going to speak to them in the midst? Oh, let them hear your voice too. And so on your cruise, I think you should speak. I think there should be at some point on the cruise 20 minutes for you to share not just how the cruise came to be, but your story. So I survived cocaine. I survived a stroke. And today I said, I'm going to live my life to the fullest. And what does that mean?
Right.
Hosting a salsa cruise.
Exactly. My husband said that's a good idea.
Did he?
Yeah. Well, we're doing the first night we're there. We're doing a meet and greet. We're gonna do a registration. Like people will come in, get their press. We're doing a press conference the first night, and then people can meet the artists and buy merchandise and things like that. So that'd be perfect day to do the speech. And
Absolutely.
say, hi, everybody. Welcome to the cruise, and then go from there.
Yes, they need to hear you and your story. They need
Yeah.
to hear some of your husband's story because they're going to hear his beautiful voice and everybody, right? I hope I hear it too. I'm coming.
Yeah.
And so-
Who wants to come on the cruise?
but that's what people want to get to know you. So yes, they're going to enjoy everything. And when they know who's behind it, when they know that salsa event I went to in Chicago that I mentioned, it was 4 days of lessons and beautiful things.
Wow.
When they brought up the founders, who are probably 82 and 85, when they brought them on stage, they weren't on stage long by any means, but it meant something to see these individuals who've been salsa dancing for 50 plus years and the love of the music and the movement after all these years. They didn't say that much, but I felt a shift in the audience when they got to see them, because some people didn't know that they were the founders. And I got to sit at the table with them and I'm like, I'm at the table with legends. Okay. And so it just means something when you get to see who curated the experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that we do it we're doing it from our heart. We want to, it's preserving our culture. It's mixing our Latin culture with American culture because we grew up here. So I'm a product of two different cultures, right? So and the music and everything it's a lifestyle, right? So we're building a community of people who like the same thing, who enjoy the music, that it's a passion, that fills their heart, and they dance with such joy, and it helps them. It helps them feel young. You see people, like I told you, my mother, 87, dancing salsa. We took her to see JC perform a couple of months ago locally, and she was dancing all night. And everybody was taking her out to dance, and she's really graceful and beautiful and everything like that. So it brings so much joy. So if I can just continue bringing joy to people, right? That's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing. And that's somebody who who loves it. Like, I love it. I was somewhere in Florida with a friend of mine and salsa music started playing and I just started dancing. I don't think I realized how much I was. And he started recording. I'm like, why are you recording? He's like, you just get in your element. Like, you are so good. And I love it. And at the resort in Mexico, they sang to me in a version of Happy Birthday. And they were like, okay, this is your element. Yes. It is. It's something I've always said that to people. For me, it's the lightness of the music. And I don't mean that all the words are always light. I know that.
Right.
But it's the lightness. I can tell you this. I told my friend, I said, I can feel the energy through which somebody sang a song. So I can listen to a song and say, ooh, when they sang that, they were very heavy. That's very heavy energy. When I listen to some salsa, merengue, different music, I'm like, there's a lightness. Not saying that they didn't have hard stuff going on, right? Not dismissing that, but there's something healing and freeing in the music. And so I thank my friend Rainisha from Panama who introduced me to it. And that was a rap, okay? That was
we have somebody from Panama singing. His name is Willie Panama. He's going to be singing on the cruise. They call him the king of salsa rap. he kind of, yeah. So we have eclectic. We have Hernan Olivera, who's a sonero. He's a improvised. When he's singing, he improvises, and he's been around for a long time. 40-year trajectory of music, and we try to bring in new artists too. We try to introduce some new artists, because it's very difficult to be an artist.
Absolutely.
The entertainment industry is very hard, and
it's different. It's different than it was. Years ago. It's very hard. No, you're going to be like, okay, did you help us plan it? No, I'm just here. I did salsa competitions back in the day, so But I tell people, I said, I look professional for about 21 seconds. And then you're like, okay, she knows one move. She doesn't know. All right. I love you. When I tell my friends who I talk to, I'm like, y'all, there's a salsa conference or a cruise. Everyone's going to say, you're going. Yes. Yes. It just says, so thank you for the love behind the cruise, you and your husband behind the cruise, because it's just, and it's real dancing. I'm sorry. Let me get on my soapbox. I went to the club back in the day here and there. That's not real dancing. That is, get off of me that close. I love this. It's amazing. Where is he?
Wants to say hi.
I wanted to say hi to him too. Where are you?
The salsa artist over here.
The salsa. Hello, sir. Greetings.
No, sir. Just JC.
Okay, what's up, JC, sir?
That's it. There you go.
Yes, so I'm looking forward to hearing some of your music. And I'm going to tell you a little secret, JC. Okay, I'm going to tell you a secret. So I hear that you are a really kind and loving husband. Mm-hmm. I've heard some beautiful things about you that made me want to say, I'm going to have him lead a session and workshop for men to teach them how to support. But no, really, I just from stories I've heard about you, your heart and care are really beautiful. And I hope that you are caring for yourself as well.
Thank you. I mean, it's not easy to handle me, for sure. So I give a lot of props to Alita. I mean, I could be not a divo, but I mean, everything I do, sometimes I'm like Alita says, she finds the right word. I'm passionate. Like I tell people I might have an attitude at times, but I don't mean anything behind it malicious. So Alita says, no, he's just passionate. Don't worry. He loves what he does, and that's what I do. So we take care of, like Alita, I don't know if she told me, we take care of the household. Yeah. We have my career. She has her magazine. I mean, we're doing events all over the place. It's cruise. So it's not easy, 9 animals, three elderly people, me and Alita, it's a lot of distraction. So I can convert myself into a little attitude-ish sometimes, but it's nothing. The way I see it is not me intentionally doing anything malice. It's just that I'm such a perfectionist at times and I'm thinking about my family at the same time and where I want to have them in the future. Yeah. So that's my passion. It's not that I don't try to be mean. I'm just like she said, I'm passionate about things.
I like the word, and
handling.
It's a high-blooded Puerto Rican.
I'm a high-blooded
Puerto Rican,
energetic, and trust me, when you deal with a big stage with a lot of big artists, and you need to deal with sound, you got to crack the whip with these people. So stay professional, but at the same time, be prompt. Like Alita said. If you're supposed to meet me at 9 o'clock and you're there at 9,
you're already late. You're already late if you're there. You show up at 9. You're supposed to be
there. Listen, I can relate. So I'm nice and all this stuff, but when it comes to events, so I host a lot of events as well. And when it comes to events, there's an order and there's structure because I believe in excellence and I believe in flow and I believe in that. And so when I work with committees, and back in the day, I used to do really big youth expos and parent expos, and there would be people at the table, and I would say, let me say something right now. If any of you are at this table and it's not about these youth, you need to leave, because this is not about you. This is about them and their parents. And so if any of you want this to put you on, this is not the stage for you. And so, and I said, I mean that, because when there is an energy that's not about the purpose of the event, you have already disrespected the audience. And so I'm cool. I like the salsa, but when it comes to that, I do not play. I'm gonna tell you how strict I am, y'all. Okay. I was doing one of my boys events. So it was a boys expo, maybe 200 boys and 50 men and other things, maybe more than that. And I invited a fraternity in, an African-American fraternity in, to do a stroll, a line dance. And so they came out and they started doing the song, Nuck If You Buck, Nuck If You Buck. Okay. Nuck If You Buck is a workout song of mine. I love the song, but not for a space about boys empowerment. Not in the space we're talking about fighting each other. So I looked at the DJ and I said, cut it. He said, right now, cut it. And so they kept dancing without the music. And one of my team members was like, Dr. G, I said, what's up? We're not playing that music here. The alphas came up to me and I said, gentlemen, thank you for being here, but that song was inappropriate. Oh my gosh, we're so sorry, we understand. So I'm just telling y'all, I can relate, because when it comes to the essence of the space, I host events for men, an event called Candid Conversations for Men, which is a safe space for men to be seen, heard, affirmed, and celebrated. We went on tour in 2023 to about 7 cities. And one of my rules is any woman who comes to volunteer, I say this to them, y'all, I'll say, ladies, I do need some support in this, but if any part of you is thirsty, and you want to meet a man, this is not the event. Because the space has to be clear. These men have to feel safe because they already know that a woman is leading it, and we're going to talk about stuff, and there's some uncomfortable feelings, like we're about to talk about feelings. So I said, ladies, if any of you a little thirsty, you cannot volunteer because I'll kick you out. All right. Thank you.
That's right. Oh, it's true. It's true. Because you don't want anybody. Now they're all flirty with the men. They're all confused. They're here for something else. And then,
and it dilutes the experience. So I've had men say, man, the women you have serving, they're amazing. Like they feel like sisters. I say, yeah, fellas, because this is for you.
Right.
So anyway, so all that being said, it's passion. And then we have a standard because we know the experience that the audience deserves.
Exactly.
And we got to show up in that. And if you can't, then you don't need to be attached to me, because I only believe in excellence.
Right.
So
You want the audience to tell the producer at the end of everything, wow. That's what I want to hear.
And that's
I don't want to hear that it was this. No, that's why I'm like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And let me tell you, my story is really quick, easy. I grew up with 4 sisters, my mother, mostly women around. Okay. And then growing up, the little girlfriends here and there, they never had boyfriends. So I was always in a crowd with women, no matter if it was my family. Then now with Alita, look, I got four women with me.
4 women.
Okay. And then I got my 3 sisters. Everything that I've done, whether it's a girlfriend or what, I'm always surrounded with, never men around. And like everybody's like, all the guys were like, all my friends were like, why are you always around women? I said, dude, it's not that I just live for it. Yeah. It just happens that I fall in that situation all the time. Maybe God has a purpose for that. We don't know what it is. And look where I ended up again. I ended up with 4 women again.
Come on.
Well, at 50, really, because I've never been around. Yeah. But it's always something with women. So something that I can relate with. I'm not one, but I grew with them. So.
But that's a gift. And that's probably the reason you're able to be not sensitive in a bad, but like you can feel things and discern things and help in a way. You remind me of my friend, Mateo. I'm actually at his place. He just left. And he grew up with 5 sisters and his mom, and his care for things is just beautiful. And I'm like, friend, how do you know how to do this? He's like, I grew up with women and I paid attention. And even his sister's husbands are like, why do you spend so much time with your brother? Because his brother sees them. Their brother sees them. And so that's a gift. Those of you who got the privilege to grow up around women and sisters, and you took advantage of the learning, you are men that are set apart. I mean that. You are set apart because there's a sensitivity and awareness and discernment that you have that other men don't. And I know, JC, you have seen men do things and you're like, idiot, what are you doing?
Man, I'd be like, I could be, my insensitivity sometimes could be my passion. Remember that.
Absolutely.
Because I bet you if I would have grew up with 3 brothers, I would have been a total different man.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes, you would have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have been a total different man.
He when I met JC, we had met, like I told you, a few times before at a friend's house. And I didn't know this, but before me, he was with somebody who died of breast cancer. So JC stayed with her till she passed, So for 2 years, it was 2 years when we got together, right? It was 2 years that she had passed. I didn't know. So I didn't know why, Yeah. So when we finally got together, he says, "Well, it must be God's journey, my journey with God to take care of another person." Because I was sick when I told him, when I met him, I said, "Look, I'm a little damaged. That's why I call this rebooted." I said, "I got rebooted. My brain got rebooted." That's what I told people because I'm a techie. It's like, I got rebooted. So I got my RAM got cleared. I got to start over again. So he helped me through that journey. I mean, it was, I mean, we made it through. You see us now like nothing happened, right, honey? But it was a struggle, right? The first 2 years.
Well, yeah.
How do you feel about that when I was sick?
Well, I already had the experience. So I say what you had, and you already, you had a stroke. It was not like it was something terminal. See, with Mickey, it was something terminal. So I was already getting prepared. Honestly, I was getting prepared for when the day came. And I saw all the progress, and what was not progress. So it was like, it wasn't something that it was just taken away from me. It was something that I knew that it was down the road and it was going to happen. So I was preparing myself already. So that when it happened, everybody was like, "Oh, you're not crying?" I'm like, I already made my peace with her. So, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. You could grieve her the way you want. I'm grieving. I'm good already. I said I grieved with her for the three and a half years.
For the 3.5 years you grieved. So just meeting y'all, I see why God brought y'all together. I see, and I don't mean JC, for you to just be caregiver, but Lita, we talked in your beautiful heart and spirit, and we talked about that on you and JC. There's a special calling on your life. There's a special calling because, in my opinion, God would only select very special men to walk alongside women who are very sick, and I'm so sorry about your first partner who passed away, and God only for real, because others would run away, others would say no, others would leave in fear. And I would use the word cowardness. I'm gonna say that others would be cowards and go away instead of being courageous, and with your fear and all of that, to step in that. And so God has a calling on your life, and that, but I just want to affirm it in you that He has a calling on your life, and you're going to be set apart and not make sense to a lot of people. You're not supposed to make sense to everybody. You're supposed to move in your calling and move in your gift and move in this beauty that you've been blessed with for a long time. So I see why God has y'all together, and you two together. So I'm gonna tell you this, y'all are a reflection of what I believe for marriage. Okay, I'm single. I believe single is such a blessing. Single is such a blessing. I don't have a desire for marriage, but I'm gonna tell y'all, for me, I am open to marriage if me and this man together do more for the kingdom than apart. Y'all are an example of that, in my opinion. I believe that you two together are doing more for community and others than you would apart, because y'all together are like fireworks, okay? Your beautiful hearts. So I need to speak that to you, so y'all know that y'all are set apart individually as beautiful individuals, but as a couple, y'all are dynamite. And steward y'all's gift and covenant well, protect it well, pray for a stratosphere around you, a force field around you to protect your marriage and your covenant, because y'all are special and you're different from most other couples y'all are connected with, not in a good or bad way. Y'all are different, and there are things that these other couples do and go through. You're like, what are they doing? And then there are things that other couples doing, and they look at y'all like, what are y'all doing? Because this is mission, this is purpose, this is covenant. And so,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but before I forget, that's a very good point, because most people take 3, 4, 5 years living separately just to get to know each other.
Yeah.
Me and Alita was like that last time.
We were just.
We've
been together since the day we met.
From the last time we've been together since, without knowing what she had, without her knowing what I do.
Nothing. Yeah.
It was just the chemistry when we were together.
It was meant to be. It was.
That's what it is.
No matter what she had or didn't have.
It's true.
And we started talking, and then when she told me what town she was in Puerto Rico.
Same town. I found out that the same time in Puerto Rico, my cousins and his cousin went to school together.
See?
Our families know each other already, and we didn't know that. Okay? So when we went to Puerto Rico, I got goosebumps. I went to Puerto Rico, I'm like, your family knows my family? How is that possible? It's a little town in Puerto Rico, like random, So only God can do that.
Only He can. And y'all were both open to it. I just did a podcast episode talking about when people say what is for you is for you. I don't agree with that. because we have to play a role in that. Because God could say, here's a new Bentley. I have to be the one to start it. And so both of you could have been in fear outside of obedience and say, oh, I just went through. And then there's some reason they're together. There's some reason we're moving in this direction.
I mean, we connected since that day.
I could have said no when she told me she's a little damaged. I could
100% you could have.
And I was out. I was straightforward too.
And then that same year,
I
have an accident in her car.
Yeah.
So she could have said, I'm not going to deal with this, through the pain I went through and the operation.
Yeah, surgery and everything. Yeah.
So, some women don't want to go through all that.
Correct.
With this guy, I just met him, it was just.
But when it's purpose and covenant, when it's purpose and destiny, you have to say yes to that. So with that, y'all, I would love to keep talking to you.
I know. You gotta go. I know.
JC, nice. Where'd you go? Nice to meet you. Come on.
Sorry, I didn't want to keep you.
No, come back. Come end the show. Listen. Sometimes you meet people and it's great to meet them and you don't see them again. I know I'm going to see y'all again. I know that I'm going to chat with y'all in some way. And I'm grateful for the strange strategy of having this beautiful conversation, Alita, you and I had. And then, JC, thank you for coming and sharing about you. It's been cool, y'all.
It's been great.
I got one more thing before I leave.
Yeah.
You will get to witness it in person, front row.
If you come to
when you book that cruise, I will make sure in the beginning of my press conference, because I'm the one that's setting up all the times and all the stages and all that. So I make sure that in that press conference, when I open that mic, hi, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to witness it right in front of you. It's going to take 10 minutes to tell a quick story about me and Alita, how this came upon.
Yep.
And everything. And that's going to be great. That would be especially for you. And then I'll say it.
Let's do it.
This is for you, Kristen.
Aww.
Thank you. And if you could spread the love with the cruise, I would love to have everybody in there. They're going to have a great time.
Absolutely.
K-pop.
I can tell.
Salsa, freestyle, K-rock.
Yeah, freestyle.
I mean, you have everything.
I told them already.
Then I got
told her the flyer.
Two DJs that are amazing. Hip hop, Motown, whatever didn't play live.
Music all weekend.
We'll do it with a DJ in between. So
I can already tell. Thank you so much. Thank you. Alita, I don't know if I have your email, but I'll get it from Madeline so I can get that and we schedule some stuff. So anyway, Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And how can people reach you? What's the best way that they can reach you?
Oh, best way to reach me is on Instagram at Dr. Kristen Guillory. So my name that's on the screen, if you push it all together, remove the period, at Dr. Kristen Guillory is on Instagram. I'd love to connect, love to support in any way that I can.
Thank you so much. You are awesome. I'm so blessed to have met you today, and everything happens for a reason, you know? And so I'm so happy that I jumped in when I did.
I am too. Thank you.
You made my day. Thank you so much.
You made mine too.
Words.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay. You too. Bye. Well, everybody, what an incredible interview. I can't even ask for any more. It was just so amazing. These are the things that I do in these shows that are not planned, okay? God directs it. It just flows. I never have a script. I know who I'm talking to and things like that. And I let the conversation flow because that makes it more real. And you learn about me and things that are happening in life that you can go through yourself, that you can get healing and different methods to deal with stress. We were all talking about stress and emotional fatigue today, but we started getting into about being a caregiver and everything like that, which is a lot of mental stress. I tell you right now. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching the show. I hope make sure you subscribe, click the little bell down on YouTube and click the like button, please. It's a free thing. You can just click on it and say like that you like this show, and please subscribe. And if you did like it, share it to somebody else. Maybe somebody else needs to listen to this. All right. So I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for being here. And see now. Everything is